What's up, guys? Barry Gaming here, back with some more Idle Heroes, and today we're going to be going over Star Swordsman Mockman because, well, he's probably one of the most important heroes once you get into the Void campaign to have on your account. You can get by with like a Jara carrying your account. You might get away with a the Doom Terminator Vulcan lately, but the good old go-to is going to be Star Swordsman Mockman. You need the least investment in him, in my opinion, to make him useful, and in the days to come, you'll see how strong he is even on our free-to-play account. So let's go over the hero, let's go over the artifacts, the gearing, the stone, all that fun stuff to let you guys know how to build this hero. Let's get going. So first off, we need to talk about why he is so strong. He's not exactly great in game modes like Aspen Dungeon. He does pretty good in Sealand, but where he really shines is a couple places. He can do absolutely amazing in Void Vortex, and most importantly, he does the best out of any hero. Void campaign, hands down #1 hero. You might get by in the early game with like a very super powerful Jara getting like a good round 2 active or something like that, locking down the enemy, but eventually you'll become too slow, and what you really need to be able to do is just power through the enemy team with huge round 1 and maybe even round 2 or round 3 bursts depending on your team setup. Very early game, you have very few heroes, and yeah, you're gonna need some superpower. So let's talk about what makes him so strong. Literally, it comes down to his active ability. He deals damage against backline enemies 2 times with a 70% chance to inflict taunt on them, which kind of helps out a little bit. Afterward, it inflicts Omen of Rift on one random enemy that doesn't already have one layer of it, then consumes all layers of Awakening, with every one layer inflicting Omen Rift one more time. Additional skill effects then take place based on the current state you're in. Normally what you're going to be doing is you're going to be placing him in Star Descending form, which means you place him in the back row to start. You'll see a little gold ore around him. This is going to reduce the armor of 2 enemies with the lowest HP by 80% for 2 rounds. Might not sound huge, but armor actually reduces damage a lot in this game. Then chases and attacks enemies that have Omen Rift on them, dealing 1200% attack damage with a 50% to chase and attack one more time, up to a total of 5 times, which is why when you see our content, it's like, please get the extra hits in because it makes such a difference. Then meanwhile, each chase and attack grants self 1 layer of Awakening energy. Eventually you will change into the Ascending form, which is the blue ring around him. That turns him more into like a counterattack hero. Not exactly what, like, it's all right. It's not really what you want, but the Ascending energy is huge because when taking active skills or basic attacks, gain 1 layer of Awakening energy. This deals 1200% attack damage to all enemies and deals damage by 50% of the same amount of damage one more time to enemies with that Omen Rift. So it's really big, and one thing you really want to focus on this hero is getting Sublimation, which honestly isn't that bad for free to play over a course of a couple months. Maxing out this first tree branch. Not only are you increasing the power of the actual active skill as it is, but you're also getting these. You're increasing your crit chance by 10% when you get to that second little node. The third node, not as big of a deal. Reduces the attack for 3 rounds when you're in Ascending form. Reduces the armor for 3 rounds instead of the 2 rounds when Star Descending. Again, not a big deal, but the last one is big. When launching a successful chase and attack to enemies that have Omen Rift, 1 extra chase of the attack is guaranteed. So it's just straight up more damage. Very, very strong. I wouldn't really worry about his second ability because in reality, you're not going to be doing too many basic attacks if you're doing your combat properly. The one that you can actually upgrade is his third, or rather his second passive, his third tree branch. When a battle starts or when self is in battle as a substitution, Trial of Champion inflicts Omen Rift on 1 random enemy. And then of course, when you are descending, all damage dealt is increased by 50%. At the end of each round, increases all allies' precision by 45. This is the big part. This is why you want to be in Descending form in the back row with that gold ore around you. It is just so powerful. And then one ability you absolutely do not want to upgrade. You don't want to upgrade this last branch because what this is going to do is it's going to increase the chance of gaining layers of Awakening energy. That's bad because for every 10 layers you gain, you change your stance. And what you want to do is you want to stay in Descending as long as possible to try to get the kills. If you do swap to Ascending, you're going to go into more of a counterattack mode, a lot less burst from that. So you want to stay away from this. You want to definitely go all in there. As far as his core goes, it's not one that I would like really hunt after per se for the average player. Because it has to do with switching states. In reality, you don't want him switching states. You want to end the combat before that even happens. So it does, of course, you know, increase allies damage reduction, has some increased allies crit. Most of those things aren't things you want to happen though, because like I said, you want him just having some crazy big damage to start out the battle, and that's really important. And what synergizes with him very well is an upgraded melodic strings. A lot of people should be going for like melodic strings as their first artifact for a lot of heroes, and this one is amazing because at the beginning of each battle increases self all damage dealt by another 50%. Of course, it reduces it 20% per round down to a minimum of 20%, and then on top of that you get round 1 active because it has 50 energy, increases your holy damage and attack. This is like one of the best offensive artifacts in the game right now, especially if you're looking for quick combat. Now, as far as his stones go, I personally like running the crit attack if you know you're going to go first, or if there's like no chance that you can outspeed them with a speed attack stone. I like this one. I really do, because that puts him at about 78% with very high crit damage, almost capped out. And then when you are in combination with the nodes here, you can run like crit chance. You don't need crit damage necessarily if you have other ways to get it from other heroes, but in this case I like running crit, and damage reduction. If I'm pushing in Sealand or something like that, a lot of times I'll change his crit damage over to block chance just so that he has more tankiness than him. And of course, he's one of the most important to prioritize getting that very first node. Now, his one skin is very hard to get, and we just got it on our free-to-play account because it is a festival skin. So you need a skin that has that little icon up there in order to swap into it. But its stats are damage reduction, attack, and HP. Very good. I feel like the only thing that would be better is like if the damage reduction was just like crit chance, or the HP was crit chance, or something like that. But he is a bomb. Definitely want to prioritize offensive stats on your awakened copy as well. Ideally getting an A copy is amazing, but good luck with that. And then of course running full gear I kind of like just because of the increased speed. A lot of people also run a 3-1 split to get more attack. It's up to you if that's what you want to do. And just to highlight this hero just a little bit, I'll show you guys a little bit of spoiler, because tomorrow we're going to show off and see why he is so strong. We're already into 1-2 in the Void campaign. Sadly, our buff has dropped down to only 2 targets. But I'll show you. Starting him in the back row is what makes him amazing. You get this golden ring around him, meaning he is in descending form. And you're just going all in here for these gigantic round 1 actives to hopefully obliterate the enemy team. You can see those additional chases come in. You can see the additional big damage coming out. Yeah, this is pretty much a big deal here to try to get the enemies down. And if you do get to the second active, that's great. A lot of times you win battles just on the back of his huge damage in round 1. Honestly, I could probably drop you to the back row as well to give a little bit better example of how we can really do some insane damage here. Didn't quite have enough, and again, it really comes down to how many of those chase attacks he does. We'll show it one more time. I'm hoping to see another one where we just completely obliterate the enemy team here. Big active right here, tons of chases. The goal is to kill like 2 to maybe even 3 targets in a single round, just so that you can do some insane damage, and then you can have like another hero like our Lord of Fear Aspen kind of come by and just clean up. But really, it's just this big active you're about to see right here. This one, boom, that is what this hero is all about, and that's why you build him. So let me know what you guys think. Hopefully this helps you guys out decide why people want to build him. And then of course, when you add like Giant Killer, Defier, all those things on an A tier copy on top of it, he gets absolutely insane. Hopefully you guys enjoy this one. Let me know if you change anything in your build as well. I'll see you guys next time.